Imagine this. Two people wake up in the same city. Same age, same background, but one has a net worth of $0, and the other has $10 million. They live in completely different realities. Not just different lifestyles. Different stress, different thinking, different decisions. Because here's the truth, money doesn't just change what you can buy. It changes how you experience life. So today, we're breaking down your life at every level of net worth, from $0 all the way to $100 million. And by the end, you'll understand one thing clearly: why most people never move up. At $0, life is not about growth. It's about survival. You wake up thinking, how do I pay my bills? What if something goes wrong? Am I going to be okay next month? Every decision is short-term. You don't think about investing. You don't think about the future. Because you can't afford to. When money is missing, it creates pressure. And that pressure forces you into reactive thinking. You take whatever opportunity you can get. You choose what's urgent, not what's important. And here's the hardest truth. When you're broke, your biggest enemy isn't lack of money. It's lack of mental space. Now something changes. You're no longer at zero. Maybe you saved a little. Maybe you started earning online. Maybe you built your first side income, and for the first time you feel hope. You start thinking, maybe I can actually build something. Maybe I don't have to stay stuck, but this stage is fragile. One unexpected expense. And everything resets. Still, this is where belief is born. And belief is powerful, because once you believe it's possible, you start taking action. This is where the grind begins. You're working harder than ever, learning skills, trying business ideas, freelancing, taking risks. You start understanding something important. Money comes from value, so you try to become more valuable, but there's a problem. You are still trading time for money. If you stop working, the income stops too. And this creates pressure. Burnout starts creeping in. Comparison gets louder. You see others succeeding faster, and you wonder, am I too late? This is where most people quit, not because they can't succeed, but because they lose patience. Now things start to shift. You're no longer just surviving. You're building. You start thinking long-term. Investments, business systems, scaling income. You realize you can't grow alone. So you start delegating. You start building systems. And something powerful happens. Your money starts growing faster than your effort. But there's a trade-off. Now you have more responsibility, more risk, more pressure. Because now, you actually have something to lose. Artists levers dramatically. You're no longer chasing money. Instead, you start protecting your time. Your income comes from investments, businesses, assets, not just your effort. You stop asking, how can I make more money? And start asking, how can I make money without my time? This is where leverage becomes everything. But here's the hidden truth. Even at this level, you're still solving problems. Just bigger ones. Now you're operating in a completely different game. This is not about earning anymore. This is about ownership, influence, decision-making power. You don't focus on small tasks. You focus on big opportunities, strategic moves, high-impact decisions. One decision at this level can create millions or lose millions. Time becomes your most valuable asset, and your circle changes. You're surrounded by people who think bigger, move faster, and play at a different level. Here's the truth most people don't realize. Every level has its own problems. At $0 gives you struggle with survival. At $100,000 gives you struggle with time and stress. At $1 you struggle with responsibility. At $10 million plus gives you struggle with meaning. Money solves money problems, but it doesn't solve everything. That's why some rich people are still unhappy, because they focused only on growing wealth and ignored everything else. So what should you actually aim for? Not just more money, but a better life, because the goal isn't to impress people. The goal is to build freedom, control, peace of mind. And remember this, every level you see was once someone else's impossible. No matter where you are right now, $0, $1 okay, or beyond. You are still in the game, and the next level, it's not luck. It's strategy, patience, and consistency